turbo. I don't think everybody is going to go so fast. Hey guys, and welcome to I'm a Biker, and this is the new Kinetic DX Plus. There are two variants. There is the DX Plus, which is this one, and then there is the DX. Few changes between the DX Plus and the DX. On the DX Plus, you get an onboard charger, which is retractable. You get 3 meters of wire, so you can just pull it out and plug it wherever you want. So yeah, let's figure out what this EV is all about, what the Kinetic DX Plus and the DX is all about. See if it's worth your money. So some numbers, to get going with the review and things like that. Okay, so it's got an LFP battery, 2.6 kilowatt, not the biggest battery out there, but pretty much being an LFP, it technically should have better life and have a much more number of charge cycles, etc., etc. So that all comes to end of life talk. But how is it to ride? Yeah, it's got a 4.6 kilowatt motor, 3 riding modes. Right now I'm in the range mode. Speed is limited to 50. Once you go into the next mode, which is power mode, you get a top speed of around 75, and then you have turbo mode, which the power is set to, and the top speed is set to 95 kilometers per hour. Acceleration in the turbo mode and the power mode is the same, just that the top speed is different. In the power mode you have somewhere around 75, and in the turbo mode the top speed goes up to 90 kilometers per hour. So a claimed range is 105 IDC. That is of course in eco mode, and eco mode is not very slow and boring. It still has got enough torque to get you going. Yeah, you might need the power mode to get up very steep inclines, but normal everyday inclines, eco mode does a pretty decent job. It is not exactly flying across it, but it can pull you through, no problem. Yeah, and then this got all sort of, you can connect your phone, you can play music, you can connect your Google Maps, but only you can hear the navigation sounds like turn left, turn right and things like that. Not exactly the full map experience. And of course you can connect your phone and set geofencing. You can have a lot of functions. You can see the state of a charge. You can see the trip modes and change a lot of settings within the scooter. You can even unlock the scooter. They unlock the seat basically, and a lot of functionality there, but not something that you would use every day. But yeah, but the most interesting bit is that they have given a keypad over here in front. So this is how you unlock the scooter. There's a power button to basically lock and unlock, and once you press the power button and you set your pin, and that's how you lock and unlock the scooter. And here you have some interesting keys, easily accessible, not too bad. I mean, you need to get used to the positioning and everything, but yeah, pretty straightforward. You have the mode switch over here. You have the cruise control over here. Cruise control works about 10 kilometers per hour, and then you have the reverse. And one more feature that what you see over here is that when you press this button, the rear foot brakes sort of pop out, so you don't need to fiddle with it every time. So small things, interesting features that they added to the scooter. One more highlight of the scooter is that you have a huge amount of boot space. You have 37 liters of boot space, which is huge. I mean, you have a lot of space to carry every kind of stuff you can ever imagine in that space. I'll show a whole video of that, and it's got separate spaces where you can keep your phone, in case you want to charge it over there, because there's a USB port there, and a secondary hole as well, a small cutout where you can keep other smaller things. So well thought of. So how is it to ride? Well, we just started riding it maybe about half an hour now, and well, it's not hugely different from what you would expect from an EV scooter. Then nothing amazingly that you say like, whoa, this scooter is it's the best EV I've ever done. nothing really stands out. This is a basic EV scooter. Now it does its job. You can cruise along town, get your job done, point A to point B, go buy your groceries, go to the barber shop, go to the saloon, those kind of things. You can get the job done. Nothing huge in terms of other features, or it's not a sporty scooter. It's a pakka daily use commute kind of a scooter. You have coasting region, not braking region. It's a hub motor, so everything's pretty straightforward. Nothing very unique or different. But yeah, I like the approaches made to some of the things here to keep it simple. It's an interesting little scooter. I think good for the daily use. Price is somewhere around 1,11,000 for the DX version, and about 6,000 higher for the DX Plus version, where you get the connected features and the onboard charger. I think the onboard charger is a good addition because usually when you carry the charger separate, it takes up a lot of space in the cargo space. So a lot of space of the 37-liter huge space would go for the charging. So this one you can just the charger is just there, and it's a huge 3-meter long wire. So I think that's a good length you can plug it to any of those so many charging stations that are around, or even at your home if you have the setup for it. It just needs a normal 15-16 amp plug point. Alright, so let's go through the modes. So right now, if you can see, I'm in the range mode, or basically it's called the range mode, but essentially the eco mode. And yeah, let's get off this turn first, and let's try out the different modes. So I'm going to now put into power mode. Yeah, immediately you have better throttle response. Yeah, the scooter is pulling quite well now. Yeah, the top speed is limited to 70. Yeah, the scooter feels much more alive. Suspension, the seat is really soft, and it's got a very low seat height, so 760 mm. So a lot of people can be very comfortable on it. Taller people not so much, because you sort of sit crouched on it. But yeah, and the seat is also quite big, so taller people can actually sit back. So I'm 5'11", and I'm actually sitting back a little to be find my riding position on it. So that's a good thing. I mean, the seat is also quite good. So even with me, usually when I sit on scooters, there's no space for a pillion. It's just a space for a laptop bag on my shoulders. But yeah. All right, now time to go into the turbo mode, and the acceleration is the same as that of the power mode, just that you have more top end speed. So it's crossed 70. We have a slight incline here now in front. Yeah, it's maintaining speed on that, which is good. So the guys at Kinetic are saying that you'll get very close to IDC range, and there are some people who got even more. But yeah, that's what they have to say. but yeah, real world, I mean, we don't have enough time obviously with the scooter to check out the entire range. But by usual standards, if they say IDC, say 105, you're gonna get close to about 90 in the range mode, and maybe about 80 and 75-80 in the power mode. Turbo mode, I think, is only for very different, where you really need to overtake and want to coast at very high speeds. So yeah, I'll put it back into range mode and just coast along. Suspensions are alright. Front could have used a little bit more softer feel, because right from when we were coming out of the place where the handover of the scooter took place, it's a little bit of a gravel road, and yeah, I wish it had a little bit more softer feel to it. But I mean, for roads like this, and mostly city roads and city speeds, like you're going to be doing maximum 0 to 50 right in the city. For those kind of speeds, it's fine. Alright, I found a little bit of a bad stretch. I thought I'll take you guys along to show how it feels like to ride on this terrain. Yeah, the suspension it's alright. I mean, at these speeds, it's soaking up everything pretty well. Nothing really to complain about. Yeah, like I said, I wish this front suspension was a little bit more pliant to absorb. So you can see a little bit of jitters, but yeah, I don't think everybody is going to go so fast on these kind of roads. Like if you slow down, yeah, it's much better. Right, and one more thing that I want to talk about is the brakes. The front brakes and the rear brakes, there's no ABS, so it's got only combi braking. The brakes feel good. Nothing really to complain about. They're quite strong and have good feedback. You're not going to anyways go very fast with this scooter, so it does its job quite well. Tires are tubeless as well, so it's an added value. Wow, feels like I come to the seaside or something with the cool breeze, and I think last night's rain has really filled up this lake. So beautiful. And yeah, coming to build quality and stuff, I mean, it's built to the price that what you would expect, and that's what you see. Nothing that screams extremely good quality, and nothing that screams any sort of bad quality as well. It's decently made for the price that it is on offer. I don't see any jarring bits that would turn me off from the scooter, so it's built to the price, and it's decently built scooter. Nothing really bad about it. Now yes, Kinetic is new. There are service and things like that. It's still it's still in its nascent stage, so it's going to take some time for them to set up things like that. But the good thing about electric scooters is that service is not that big of a complicated problem. So depending on where you are, the on-road price for this would be around 1.3, 1.4. Now with the registration and RTO insurance and all of that added to the change mode to get out of here. This guy is smoking exhaust. Yeah, I think that is a nice use case. To overtake, you switch to power mode or turbo mode. Going like this at full throttle, and then you find something irritating that you want to get around off, and then boom, just press on the power mode and change the ride mode and then get going. Yeah, slight incline now. I'm in the range mode. Let's see how it handles that. It's not so bad. It's maintaining the speed, which is quite good. Let's get out of here. The lorry has come right up beside me. So yeah, a good commuter scooter, a good EV. What do you think about the Kinetic? Do you remember the old Kinetic? I think there's some attachment for a lot of people. Probably people who are my age, or who have had the luck to have the Kinetic at their homes, because it was one fun scooter back in the day, and it still remains a fun scooter. Should we try this spot? No, it's all dirty. Yeah, so if you're out in the highway like this with empty roads, the range mode will feel quite slow. So I also just moved it up to power mode to get a little bit more cruising speed. Yeah, around 68, 70 now. Again, slight incline. It's holding even with the incline. So yeah, it's doing everything that you would expect from it. Let's race with the lorry. Oh no, I'm maxed out. Turbo. And back to Uh, it is good fun to have these molds on vehicles. It's like in those Fast and Furious movies where you're going to press NOS and like you get a sudden boost. Cool. So yeah, let's find some place to shoot some awesome B-rolls. And yeah, what do you guys think of the scooter? Do you think you're going to experiment with the Kinetic and be drawn in by the Kinetic nostalgia to try out the new Kinetic DX Plus and DX? Let me know in a comment below, and if you have any questions, of course, just drop in and I'll have it answered for sure. Alright guys, see ya. I'll see you in the next one.